Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia, and on this channel I talk about metaphysics, psychology and everything in between. With the ever-changing world, jobs, disciplines, professions, technologies, they are all changing at breakneck speed in our modern day information society. And whether you want to change a job, prepare for a next level role, or even start a business, you need to keep upskilling, because that is the only way you are going to stay competitive or even have a chance of entering the door. However, with that being said, acquiring and mastering a new skill, although a very rewarding journey, oftentimes it can be a long and complex process that is very challenging. And with bosses giving us tasks that are due in only 2 days to school projects that are due in only a week, the learning time continues to be shortened. Trying to keep up learning a new skill that will improve your efficiency will, in the shortest time possible, will leave you feeling overwhelmed, and you may start to construct self-limiting beliefs like, maybe I'm just not good at this, or maybe I am a slow learner. Trust me, you are not alone in this type of thinking. And in this video, I will be talking about the Dreyfus model of skill acquisition, which I came across when I was doing some research on why we take so long to master a skill. Knowing this model will help you appreciate what it takes to actually become good at something, and you will learn to become more calm and have fun at whatever different level you are on the model, because through having fun, that is how we actually learn faster. So if this is something that you're interested in, please stay tuned and let's delve right in. So before we dive in, I think it's worth taking a moment to define exactly what a skill is. A skill is an ability to perform a task or an activity to a high level of proficiency. Now that we know what a skill is, let me talk about the researchers behind this model and what it is. The model was developed by brothers Stuart and Herbert Dreyfus in 1980, based on research that was carried out at the University of California in Berkeley. The model is based on 4 mental functions, which are recollection, recognition, decision, and awareness, and how they vary at each level of expertise. Each time any of these mental functions matures, your level of expertise rises. The model explains the 5 stages one goes through before you become a master at anything. Let's get into them. The first level is novice. At this stage, you are just an amateur, right? You are just learning the basics of the skill. You are learning all the rules, even without the understanding of where to apply them or why you're even learning these rules. To help you understand these stages better, let me use an example. So for example, you are trying to acquire and master the skill of copywriting. At this stage, you will learn all the different rules to do with copywriting, even if you do not have an understanding yet of where to apply these rules. So at this stage, just enjoy yourself and come up with maxims that you can follow in any context that you may encounter in the future. Stage number 2, advanced learner. At this stage, nothing is really integrated yet, and you do not know anything about what you're doing. You are just following the rules that you learned as a novice. So as you are beginning to apply the new skills to different situations, allow yourself to have fun while you're doing this, as you are gauging where the rules apply and where they don't. When you are at this stage, it will feel as if you are faking it, right? But do not worry, continue faking it, because it's through the faking it that you'll gain some experience that will take you to the next stage. And the progression from abstract to more concrete experiences will begin to happen. Stage number 3, competence. This is perhaps the most interesting stage of them all, because this is where you'll begin to make mistakes and the integration will begin to happen. At this stage, you are no longer blindly following rules. You are getting a better grip on where the rules apply and where you cannot actually apply them. You will even encounter scenarios where it's unclear which rules to follow, and you will begin to experience friction. But the wonderful thing about this stage is that the more you continue to make mistakes, you will also gradually learn from those mistakes, and that is what will make you better and push you to the next level. Because as you continue to encounter different situations, scenarios where you're applying these rules of copywriting, you'll become more familiar with the different contexts that you're trying out, and you'll even become more comfortable, which will help you gain more experience. However, even if you're starting to get the hang of things at this stage, you still haven't yet developed much of an intuition. So you are still approaching the copywriting or your work in a very intentional and methodical way, which is fine because it will still give you that chance to learn more and gain more experience so you can become a proficient person, which is our next stage. Stage number 4, proficient. At this stage, you know exactly what to do in any given situation. You may have to still consciously choose among the different ways of doing things, but there's little ambiguity about which course of action to take. And now, our 5th stage, which is expert. At this stage, you start acting according to intuition. Because you have been doing the skill for quite some time now, we use the skill of copywriting. Because you have been copywriting for quite a long time, you can easily recognize patterns and make decisions quickly based off intuition. At this stage, your performance will start to look effortless and even magical to an outside observer, right? And these stages of proficient and expert to an untrained eye can look similar, but that's not true because there are very subtle differences that differentiate them, and the difference is in the subtlety. It is important to note that even experts are still very methodical in their approach. Therefore, intuition is not the hallmark of being an expert at any given skill or subject. Now that you know the different levels you have to go through before you become good at any skill or any subject, is it wise to still beat yourself up about how slow you're learning? Probably not. Let's now discuss how you can use this model to drive the way you learn. The first thing you should do is recognize where you are on the model. Before you begin to learn about the different rules of the skill that you're trying to acquire or master, first pinpoint where you fall on the model. Are you a novice? Are you an advanced learner? Are you competent, or are you on the cusp of being proficient and an expert at that skill? After discovering where you fall on the model, ask yourself the following questions. What qualities, what abilities, what talents do I have that will help me master this skill? A modicum of self-insight can help enormously, because asking yourself these questions generates insights that will help you learn, and you can now take that information and use it to help you cultivate that skill. And here's how you use that information. Number 1, understand the history of the skill. I know this sounds like, why do I need to understand the history of the skill? But you see, when you immerse yourself in the history of the skill, how it came about, who was a master at it in the past, or how people have used it to better their lives, this will help you to connect that skill to broader goals of your life. After learning the history of the skill that you're trying to acquire, now immerse yourself in learning all the rules to do with that skill, because this will build the foundation which you require to grow. The second thing you need to do is to practically try out the skill. When you first learn the different rules of the skill, you understand it on a theoretical level, but you need to move from the theory to the practical. The third thing that you should be doing is staying consistent in your practice. When you are cultivating this skill, it's very vital that you continue practicing consistently, because the Dreyfus model assumes that the more you practice at any given stage, the better you become, and then you move on to the next stage. It's important to note that the first days of practice, you'll be riding that motivational wave. And as time goes on and the novelty wears off, you may give up on practice, but do not. And here's what you need to do to stay consistent. Number 1, make time to learn. When you are trying to acquire and master a new skill, it's important to set some time out in a day that you will use to cultivate that skill, because it will help you stay focused on what it is that you are trying to achieve. And then number 2, split your learning sessions into a series of smaller steps. Because when you're trying to acquire and master a new skill, learning all the different rules, practicing, all these things might feel overwhelming. But if you break the chunk of the learning sessions into smaller steps, it will make it more enjoyable, and you will most likely stick to the time that you say that you will be practicing every single day, because it's just small sessions, right? So it's very, very important that you break that chunk of learning into small series of small steps of learning. Then number 3, and the most important step of them all, is do not break the chain. When you're trying to be consistent, your only job is to not break the chain. If you say that every day I will be copywriting for 30 minutes in the morning, do not break that chain. Every morning, show up, do the work right for 30 minutes, and then you can cross off that day on your calendar. But whatever you do, do not break the chain, because that will keep you accountable, and that will ensure that you stay the course and do the work of learning that skill. Here is a statement that I came across that gave me much needed perspective on consistency. And it states that 1 day is a lapse. 2 days is the beginning of a habit, the habit of being inconsistent. To put new skills into practice as effectively as possible, it is essential that you get regular feedback. Good feedback helps you to reflect more deeply, which is vital to the learning process. While there are no rules to when exactly you should get feedback during your learning process, I think it is important to get feedback whenever you hit a milestone, because that will allow you to check and see whether you're on course, or maybe there's something you need to correct, and then you do it immediately. Now you might be wondering, where do I get information on a skill that I'm trying to cultivate? Well, number 1, books. Books have traditionally been the most popular and reliable resource for learning. And it's because they have very definite advantages, such as they provide in-depth and detailed information to do with a particular skill or subject. And then number 2, YouTube tutorials. I mean, there's so many educators across the world that continuously upload educational videos on YouTube for free. So why not use that opportunity? Just go on YouTube, type in the skill that you want to learn, and voila, you have a whole plethora of videos that are teaching you exactly what you need to know about that skill. And then number 3, mentors. Do you know someone that is experienced in the skill that you're trying to acquire? If so, why not ask them to mentor you on your journey as you cultivate and master that skill? Not to mention that their feedback will be invaluable. So, it is no doubt that one of the things we need to do continuously in life is to upskill. We need to continue acquiring new skills that will keep us aligned with the ever-changing needs of this developing world. And now that you understand that there are levels one has to go through before they become good or a master at any given skill or subject, why not start today to cultivate whichever skill you have in mind that you think will help you become more efficient in your work, at your job, in your schoolwork? Start today. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video, so please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please also remember to subscribe to my channel, as that helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.